Mr. Boa Constrictor says, stay tuned. Taped with Rabbi Doug is coming up next.
We're going to see Rabbi Doug. We're going to see Rabbi Doug. We're going to see Rabbi Doug on your TV tonight.
But Daddy, I want to watch Monday Night Football.
Forget about Monday Night Football. There's no other thing we're going to watch on Monday but Rabbi Doug. Yeah, Rabbi Doug on TV tonight. We're going to see Rabbi Doug. Oh, everybody talk about Doug.
Shalom and welcome to Taped with Rabbi Doug. Glad you could be with us today. I have a number of guests, but my main guest today is Josh Chernoff. And Josh is a member of the Chicago Herpetological Society. And Josh is here with a snake on his arm right now. I actually know Josh because he met my wife when he was showing off his snakes and explaining about these reptiles to the Tzemach Tzedek Jewish Day School. And Josh himself is a product of the day school system. He went to Ari Crown Day School. He went to Clinton School. He's a West Rogers Park person. And welcome to the show, Josh. Nice to have you on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So what does a guy from the hood, a yid, do with snakes? How did you come into being familiar with snakes and collecting them and taking care of them and so on?
That's a fascinating question. I want to say I was born with it. I remember as a kid going to Cut Rate Toys.
I remember Cut Rate on Devon.
Remember Cut Rate?
Sure.
Begging my mom to get me those little rubber snakes. And that was probably, I was 4 or 5 years old. So I was always fascinated by reptiles, snakes, lizards, turtles, amphibians. My neighbors, when I was growing up on Whipple, they had snakes across the street. Uh-huh. So every chance I got, I was always running over there, trying to look at the snakes, watch them eat. They had garter snakes. They're very popular snakes as a first-time snake. They're found all over Chicago, and I was just absolutely fascinated by it. I'll tell you a funny story. When I was getting into this hobby, I couldn't get my mom to let me have a snake, nor a lizard. So I ended up getting what are called newts. And newts are basically aquatic, they're amphibians, they're like aquatic lizards. So one of the memories that I have of growing up is riding on my bicycle from Whipple all the way, I think it was Western, and there was a little tiny pet shop right on the corner of Western and Whipple, and it was an old Jewish guy that owned the place, and the guy knew me because I would always come every week, take my allowance, and buy another newt. So I'd walk in there, and the guy would look at me, his glasses would be down, he'd say, "Josh, what would you like today? What is it? Another newt? Can I interest you in a goldfish?" Always tell me, "You know what, Josh, I'm not going to sell you another one because I know you have 8. I'm not going to sell you another one." He'd always end up selling me one. So I just have
Started out with newts.
Started out with newts. From there, went to lizards. Finally got my mom to let me get a lizard. And from there, this in my mind was the gold mine, in the sense that if I could get my mom to let me have a snake, that was, as a kid, that's like a big step up.
Uh-huh. And this one you're holding right now is a boa constrictor, right?
This is a red-tailed boa constrictor that was actually a rescue from the Chicago Herpetological Society.
Yeah, tell me, what does herpetological mean?
It's the study of reptiles and amphibians.
Uh-huh.
And
the members, are you part of a small group of the members that actually do rescues?
Yeah, we have as a whole about 500 members. Mm-hmm. And there's probably about 15 to 20 of us that do extensive rescue work.
So if I call 911 and I say there's a big, gigantic snake, I don't know what it is, I'm scared, it's in my backyard right now, do the police call the Chicago Herpetological Society and send out someone to rescue it?
Believe it or not, we are actually on the, I think it's the disaster list. Uh-huh. So we do a lot of rescue work, and I don't know if you remember that alligator that was pulled out of the Chicago River.
Sure, sure.
That was us. That was our organization. Really? We actually got that alligator out of there.
I want to invite on camera now, if you'll come to the microphone over here. This is John Archer. He is the president of the Chicago Herpetological Society. How do you become the president of a society like this? You've been doing it as long as he has?
Well, I've always been interested in these animals, but I've only been with the society the last 8 years or so. And you become president like you become pretty much president of any other volunteer organization. You're the guy that's out of the room when the vote was taken. So that's how I got to be president.
Very nice. And you have another boa constrictor there. Now, what's the difference between these two, and what's the age difference and size difference? John?
One of the points that I would like to bring out is that a lot of people buy these animals when they are little, and this animal is actually about a year old. So a boa constrictor that's just born is about maybe 10 inches long. So people go into pet shops, see these cute little snakes, and it's kind of like an impulse item. They'll end up buying a small boa constrictor like this, and they really don't realize how big they actually get. I mean, right here, this snake is about 4 to 5 years old, and it should actually be a lot bigger. This snake, this is the same.
Do they grow according to the
snake.
Environment they live in, like other
No, that's
animals?
kind of an old myth that if you put a snake in a small enclosure, it's only going to grow as big as the enclosure. That's the same thing as like saying if you take a kid and you stick him in a closet and you feed him, he's only going to stay as big as the closet. So no, that is not true.
Okay.
One of the things that I like to really inform people is that if you do get a snake, or really a lot of different reptiles really get big. So a lot of the animals that we end up getting in are animals that people have had, and I don't want this anymore. I have to take care of it. It's kind of a hassle, and it's too big. So that's really from an education.
They let it go, or they call you guys and turn it in.
There are cases where people do let their reptiles go in Chicago and just, hey, I don't want to deal with it.
Like that alligator.
Exactly, like that alligator. But that is really that's terrible for the animal.
Of course. Because
these animals cannot survive a Chicago winter. This animal's from South America. Mm-hmm. This animal. This snake here could never make it. It might be able to make it a couple months during the summer, but once that those cold temperatures kick in, this animal is going to perish.
I understand. Now, this boa constrictor is potentially dangerous. Could choke you.
There is no record of a boa constrictor ever killing anybody. I would have to say that any snake over 7 to 8 feet, you should always have another person present, especially when you're dealing with large constrictors like these, because essentially they are constrictors and they kill their prey by constriction. So I wouldn't really consider this snake to be any type of a threat, but
nothing I'd want to sleep with, though. Never want him to be crawling all over me at night. But we have something else coming up here.
How are you going to make this pass?
Okay.
What is this little dragon here? Whoa, that's shedding around here.
Yeah, this is...
He's shedding right now, huh?
This is a Colombian Teague. And kind of feisty, as you can see. And it is shedding.
How often do they shed?
As long as they grow, they're shedding. They're really shedding throughout the animal's entire life. This animal, as you can see, really does not want to be handled. There are actually, look at that. We're getting the whole skin off. We're doing a good job here. Whoa, look at that.
Yeah.
All right, calm down.
What does a guy like him eat?
What does an animal like this eat? That's a good question. This guy eats really anything. When I say anything, I feed this animal primarily fish. I like to supplement them with rodents.
Like mice?
Mice. All the rodents that this guy eats, though, they are all pre-killed. Everything's dead already. The reason I don't give him an overabundance of rodents is because you can see he's kind of fat.
Yeah.
He's kind of, I don't want the animal to...
Does he eat them whole?
He eats them whole, yeah. And actually, one of the things that I'm a little fearful of is you could see the muscles right here in the jaw. these animals have tremendous bite force. In the wild, what they do generally...
He has teeth in there?
Oh, he has...
I mean, I saw his mouth open, but I didn't catch
He has
it.
big teeth.
Big teeth.
They're really like under the gum tissue, but he definitely has big teeth. Thank you for calming down for the camera. But generally what this animal does in the wild is, you see he's got a forked tongue. You could kind of... Let's see if we get that tongue to come out. There you go.
Ooh, wow.
That's what the animal uses basically to find food in the wild. What this guy will do is he'll cruise the forest floor, find a mouse, find really anything, a frog, any type of animal, grab it, and then just begin shaking it. And the jaw pressure is so strong that it actually just eventually the animal just dies. But
wow.
This particular animal is also a rescue. I don't know if you notice, he's missing part of his tail here. His tail should actually be a lot longer. This guy was found in a parking lot, and that's how I ended him. Yeah, in Chicago. And
How does something like this come to Chicago? Where's it originally from?
A lot of people, they get it. The kids buy them at swap meets. They buy them at pet stores. They bring it home. Mom looks, get that thing out of my house.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. And then that's kind of, that's really where a lot of our work comes into play.
All right, I see another snake coming up here. John has got something else for you here. Tell me about this right here. What is this?
Okay, this is a really interesting snake here. This right here is a California king snake. California, right? These guys are found in California, Nevada, that type range. What's really fascinating about these snakes, what I find really fascinating about them, is the reason they call them king snakes is they eat and devour other snakes, even rattlesnakes, snakes that are venomous. These snakes have no problem killing.
How do they get to a rattle? It looks kind of small and stuff. How does he get to a rattlesnake without the rattlesnake poisoning it or killing it?
How does he get to the rattlesnake? That is a great question. A snake like this, after thousands of years, has built up an immunity to venom, to snake venom. So these snakes are similar to boas in that they're constrictors. So what this snake will do in the wild is grab, usually the best bet is for a snake like this to grab a rattlesnake by the head. That way it's not going to get bit, and then constrict it. And really fascinating.
Cool.
How these snakes can do that.
Here comes an amphibian, which is John's expertise.
Not an amphibian.
No,
That's not an amphibian.
No.
This is a turtle.
He's a dry land
Dry-landed turtle.
Wow.
But no turtles are amphibians. They're all reptiles.
Yep, they're all reptiles.
All turtles are reptiles.
All turtles are reptiles. That is
I
correct.
didn't know that. I thought some were amphibians and some were reptiles.
Some are amphibious, but not amphibians.
This
Some
turtle,
amphibious and not amphibians.
this box turtle, these are box turtles, a very common animal in the pet trade, was found walking down Lakeshore Drive. We got a call, just taking a walk. Probably what happened was somebody had the animal in their backyard, the animal escaped, or, might have just let it go. But this animal was about this close to becoming a roadkill. So
You got him.
it's a special animal. Another interesting thing about turtles is you can see his shell right here is concaved in. Okay, that is telling us that this guy is a male. Also, he's not going to let us see, but male turtles have a longer tail that comes down to about right over there.
Now, he's a little frightened. That's why he goes in, right?
He is a little
But you
frightened.
see him coming out again a few seconds later, so he's comfortable with you.
You know what? You hit it right on the head with this particular animal. A lot of turtles are just extremely frightened of people, of just being held like this. This guy is a lot more, he's more comfortable around people. He's probably been around people his whole life.
All right. We got another snake coming up here. This is unbelievable. Here it comes. And we have a new handler. There we go.
This is another really fascinating animal right here. This is an animal that's similar to the other snake that I just had. It's called a milk snake.
Wow.
And
John, do you have that picture we talked about I want to show this. Now, thank you. This milk snake is not venomous.
Is not venomous. That is correct.
But there's something that looks like the same colors, but the pattern is a little bit different. And let me just get it over here for Dan a little bit. And this one is
a
actually
coral snake.
A coral snake. And this one is venomous.
That is venomous. That is correct.
And how does one who's not a snake expert look at it? You really can't tell the difference unless you really know the patterns.
Yeah, well, there's different sayings that people have come up with along the years, through the years, and one of the sayings is black on yellow, kill a fellow. And you can see the pattern is actually different than this snake, although they look very, very similar. Yellow on black, yellow is on the outside, black is on the inside. And if you look at this particular snake,
black is on the outside.
Right, and yellow is in the middle. So that's right. Unfortunately, this is a harmless snake. If anything, this snake is doing a great service. It's consuming an enormous amount of rodents, which is one of the really great benefits of snakes. Snakes consume hundreds of thousands of pounds of rodents every year, and that's something I think people should take a little more appreciation for of snakes.
Wow. All right, what do we have coming next? We have another small snake, kind of pretty. It's interesting, the red...
That's a red milk snake, and it's from southern Illinois.
Red milk.
It's the same species.
Come to the microphone, John. Come to the microphone and tell us. Please. The one he's got right now is?
This is a red milk snake. It's from southern Illinois. It's the exact same species as the one you were just seeing. Only as they move, it is a little different, but if you look at it from the top, it bears a strong resemblance to it, right? And as they move farther north, as the glaciers retreated, they moved north with the glaciers, but the coral snakes didn't move with them. So this is the same species of snake from right around here.
This is a local snake.
As he moves north, he wants to get cryptic. He no longer wants to stand out and advertise his venomous. He wants to say, I want to hide now. So all three of those were the same species, different subspecies.
Now, the color on this small one is
this pattern, will blend in better with deciduous forests, more back-of-the-woods type snake. It's going to be found under rotting logs.
Very interesting. And their offspring stay the same color?
Yes, they'll stay the same. Well, no, I mean... These are born this way, and he might darken up a little bit, but they essentially stay the same color all their lives. Not all snakes do that.
Very nice. Very interesting.
I wanted to tell you about a great event that we have going on. We do it every year. It's called Reptile Fest. And it's the world's largest educational reptile show. Really, I'd be happy to say it's probably the largest in the world. And it's 40,000 square feet of basically nothing but reptiles. And it's a spectacular show. We do it every year, like I said. And we got everything from alligators, the rescued alligators that we've pulled out of the Chicago River, snakes. It's really great for kids. It's very educational. So it's a great show. It's fascinating.
And when does this take place every year?
This is April 4th and April 5th of 2009, so it's coming right around the corner.
From the time we're taping, it's going to be right away. And then
right
next year, in 2010, it'll be in April again?
Every year it's in April, yeah. And it's great for kids. Parents bring their kids. And we have all types of different activities, face painting. We give live presentations with animals, which is...
And the kids get hands-on. They can
exactly,
touch them.
Yeah.
Don't go away. The monsters will get you. Tape with Rabbi Doug. I'll be right back.
Maria?
Yeah?
Some things on TV scare Elmo.
If some things on TV make you feel sad or scared, tell a grown-up that's close to you.
Like you, Maria.
Yes, like me.
Don't touch that dial. Taped with Rabbi Doug will be right back.
These last 2 years have been the best years of my life.
I found there are thousands of sober seniors.
Alcoholics Anonymous. Look us up in the phone book or check your newspaper. Hi, I'm Avi Myers of the Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine. We can be seen on Channel 19 together with Rabbi Doug. And don't forget to catch Rabbi Doug every Monday at 8:30 p.m. and every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. on Channel 19 in Chicago and many cable systems besides.
John, what is that?
Well, I'll let Josh hold it. He can pick it up, but he's going to pick it up after he wets his hand. This is an amphibian. Amphibians have to be handled very little, and if you do handle them, you want your hands wet because all amphibians are slimy. That's different from snakes and reptiles. And they're slimy because that mucus is what protects them from bacteria or other pathogens passing through their skin. Their skin's real porous. They absorb oxygen and water right through that skin. So he's got a slimy toads that are a little less slimy than some of the other ones. But that's why Josh isn't holding him real bad, and we can't handle those.
He's not wanting to be held so easily.
Right, exactly.
You also have to read, an animal's body language. This animal does not want to be held.
Yeah. Now tell me exactly what species is this?
Well, I wish I knew. I mean, I brought him tonight just because he's the only toad I have right now that looks like an American toad. He's not. He's probably a European toad, but he's, again, a rescue. And when I got him, I got about 48 other animals. I'm stabilizing him, and then I'll go ahead and look him up and find out what he is. But I suspect he's a European toad.
Very interesting.
They're very common. They're very common in the pet trade. So.
Very interesting. All right.
Another interesting thing about toads is, I know it's with cane toads. If an animal bites them, they actually have a poison in the top of their head that they release that actually kills the animal.
That attacks them.
Right.
Now here comes something really small, a little bit smaller than this toad.
This guy can probably take out. Just put your hand.
Okay.
He'll sit there. He's good.
And what do we have here, John?
This is a little Spadefoot Toad. They're native to the southeast U.S. This guy was rescued from the middle of a river. He was still a tadpole when I got him. And they don't belong in rivers. They're mostly land animals. He'll breed in small mud puddles down there.
It was you could tell what species he was as a tadpole?
Yeah, he was almost metamorphosis. He had just his tail left. But he shouldn't have been out in the middle of that big river, and he was about to become fish food. So I fished him out, and he's been with me ever since.
And what's his origin as far as where do they normally come from?
Southeast U.S.
Southeast
South.
US.
He'll come right into the very southern tip of Illinois also. And they breed usually on wet, rainy nights in the spring when it gets just warm enough, and they'll come out by thousands and thousands and get run over on the roads and hop around trying to get the swamps and all that kind of stuff.
Say hello.
Hello.
And you notice the cute thing about it is he got those little elliptical eyes, which makes them one of my favorite frogs.
Can you hold them up on the camera here? Maybe camera 2. Dan, could you? We got 2 Dans. Okay, let's go to camera 3. Sorry, camera 3. And Dan Hauser's going to bring up and try and get those eyes if you can. Look at those eyes. Oh, great picture. Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing.
The bug eyes.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you so much. You got something else here now.
This you might have a flying frog.
Okay.
We like flying
I think
frogs.
It stays there. This is a little green tree frog. You can find these again in southern Illinois and
maybe
throughout the
southeast. Maybe if you turn this one around like this, Dan Hauser can get this one again.
And the reason Josh can't handle this one is because as soon as you touch him, he's going to leap, and he'll leap very, very far away.
A little bit more this way.
But they're very common in the southeast, all over the southeast, and you'll find these in a lot of outdoor restrooms. They're hanging around the lights, eating bugs and insects and all that, but they're very, very common around there. And again, he's slimy, so you'd have to handle him with wet hands.
Now
and
they stay near trees and plants because I see the bright green. You think that they would?
Well, that's where they originally started out, but they tend to. If you want to find them easily, you'll go look in outdoor restrooms because they like those lights. You'll look around the base of lights because the lights draw bugs, and they eat lots of bugs. So they like that.
They also have suction pads that enables them to cling to glass and hover upside down. So.
All right, we got something else coming up here, and I have no idea what it is. It's some sort of lizard, right?
No.
Salamander.
It's a salamander. Oh, let's see if you can turn that also a little bit.
A salamander, again, is another amphibian, slimy skinned, and the same problems
that other.
See how
slimy it is. Beautiful picture, beautiful.
This is the most widely distributed geographically of any of the salamanders in the U.S. And North America is the center for salamanders, by the way. We have more species here than anywhere else in the world. But this guy spreads almost across the entire U.S., and you can find him right here in the city of Chicago if you know where to look. They're very, very common. You don't see them very often. They come out at night when it's raining.
Wow. Oh, we only have a few minutes left. What else we got coming up here, John?
Well, we have to get these out because these are dear to Josh's heart.
Okay. Oh, these are your newts.
These are the newts I was telling you about.
Can you take a newt into your hand there?
Sure.
And hold it kind of up to the camera here.
Sure can. Oh, this is just the way I remember them. Man, what a blast from the past.
Oh, gosh.
Let's see.
You could handle them easier when you were younger, right?
Yeah, my hands are a little smaller.
Okay.
So here they are. These are the little guys. I used to drive down Devon Avenue, and I had them in a little plastic bag, and I'd be riding on my bicycle back home, very, very excited to have these guys because they're small. It's like a lizard, and just absolutely fascinating creatures. And look at this little guy.
He's an active one.
A very active one. But
Very
wow,
cool.
what a blast from the
Very
past
cool.
seeing this little guy.
So let me go back now. John, if you'll come to the microphone again, just to ask you. The Chicago Herpetological Society is a not-for-profit organization. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you guys are funded how?
Well, actually, the Reptile Fest that's coming up is our largest fundraiser. We have other ways we do it. Sometimes we get stipends for doing shows, and sometimes we're paid a small amount for each animal we're
And if
adopted
anybody
and all
wants
that kind of
more
stuff.
information, they can look up chicagoherp.org. That's Chicago, H-E-R-P, one word, .org, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Correct.
And that's the best place to find
out
it.
more information. And if somebody is into snakes and stuff and they want to join, they can also apply for membership?
Membership's
our,
open
monthly
to everybody,
meetings, yeah.
and you can find it on the website.
Wow, this is great. Do we have one last thing to show, or are we...
Well, I have
ready?
other things to show, but I figured it was getting a little
If
bit
we
late.
could show one
so-
more thing just in closing.
What would you like, an
close with
amphibian
that.
or a...
Whatever you like, whatever you like. A snake, an amphibian, anything you like.
Let me get a little snake here.
Okay, we'll get a little snake to say goodbye. I want to again remind our viewers that you can see our show on the web and look up many episodes as well as find our website at www.tvrabbi.com. And you can also email us, and I'll be happy to forward emails to John or to Josh at info@tvrabbi.com, and I'm sure they'll get back to you. Or you can look up the Chicago Herpetological Society at chicagoherb.org. I want to once again thank Josh Chernoff, and I want to thank John Archer, the president of the organization, for being with us today, as well as Dan Martyr, Dan Hauser, and Jay behind the board. Thank you so much, Jay. We appreciate you being here, and all of our crew and staff.
You can pick
Last
that one
but
up
not
too,
least,
Josh.
Yeah, if you
it's
can.
a marbled salamander.
Wow. Wow, look at this guy.
I couldn't find the snake I wanted.
That's okay, that's okay. Herbert's marbled salamander. And these are from where, John?
Southern Illinois, again, about halfway up the state. Well, maybe not quite that far, but Southern Illinois and then throughout the southeast you can find them. They are unique because they breed and lay their eggs and hatch out in the fall rather than in the spring like most salamanders, and then
Very
they'll
cool.
overwinter as larvae.
Very pretty. Well, goodbye, Mr. Salamander. Goodbye to all of you. Thanks for being with us on Tape with Rabbi Doug. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye. Shalom, everyone.
And I'm talking about Rabbi Doug. Talking about Rabbi Doug. Talking about Rabbi Doug on your TV show. Well, he's the rabbi for me. Anytime you need. You're gonna get married or you're gonna die. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug on the TV tonight.